Okay, cool.
You got to show me how to find things in there. I see lots of pictures, but
All right,
I don't
gang.
understand how to search it.
You got it.
This is one of those questions. We can just immediately come back to that initial tool we talked about yesterday, which is looking at the majority of the mass of the, mass of the toes with the heel pad, right? So let's just do something for fun. Take a look at this coyote track, okay? Take a look at the size of the toes, right? Remember we did that yesterday? Bam, 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 bam. And when we start dragging them in there, we can fit one in for sure. We might be able to squeeze two in, and then it's just kind of game over. Heel pad on the hind, of course, is even harder to do that. But take a look at the size of this heel pad and compared to the size of the toes. Take a look at the size of this heel pad. It's almost as big as that coyote pad. In fact, it is as big, it's just not as long. And then look at the size of the toes. So right off the bat, is this a canine or a cat?
Cat. Cat. I got that backwards.
But I just wanted to point that out just because I love comparing the size. And is this a huge bobcat? No. And even still, its heel pad is damn near beginning to rival that of a mature western coyote, which is pretty cool. So,
isn't, I mean, bobcats around here are only about that big, right? I'm just asking the group.
Yeah, I would say so.
cool. And yeah, standard size bobcat. I'm just saying in the world, you get some hogs out there. And so this is just about perfect in size for this. So a few things to look at. It is a bobcat. And remember we were talking about the asymmetrical footed animals, at least a number of them are digging squirrels, rabbits, cats, built just like us in that they have the low pinky, a higher index finger, and the longest middle finger, right? And we can tell rights and lefts right away. Is this a right or a left? Right. That is a right. Yeah, so there's your middle finger. So we've got index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky. Okay.
It was right.
It's a right. And then let's talk about fronts and hinds. If you look at the front, take a look at, for one, the heel pad just tends to have this more trapezoidal, blocky appearance. The overall track itself is wider set. In part, just the whole foot is wide, the heel pad is wide, and you've got this much more asymmetrical appearance as opposed to the hind foot of your wildcats, which has a more tower-shaped heel pad and a more symmetrical build, kind of like the toes are situated like that of a canine, right? Every now and then you will get extreme, mild or extreme asymmetry in the hind feet of cats, and oftentimes you can, I've seen, and especially in females, which we can talk about next, I have seen a number of female bobcats and lions out in the world that you could always recognize their tracks very immediately because of the shapes of their hind feet in particular. Anywho's, we'll look at the same thing in bobcats. So again, big, more bulky trapezoidal heel pad, wider set toes, more tower-shaped heel pad of the hind foot, more symmetrical foot. So, front or hind? Front. So again, we've got this wider set. It's asymmetrical squat, and then we've got that beefier heel pad. There it is. Beefier heel pad, more trapezoidal as opposed to this long.
Man, I followed the whole argument, but I don't see it.
Okay, so take a look at this one. Here's a hind here. So take a look at the size of this heel pad.
Yeah.
See the whole width of it? Now take a look at the size of this heel pad. See how much it's taller, it's narrower. It's just an entirely different size.
I'm going to have to take your word for it.
Okay.
That's okay.
And also just take a look at this whole track itself. See how it's narrower compared to this. In fact,
I can see that.
Yep. So, and if we do it with the heel pad, let's just drop. Well, let's do this. Let's take the width of this.
Yes.
Okay, everybody agree?
Yeah.
Okay, let's flip that out. And we'll put that over here. And take a
Okay,
look at that.
okay. All right.
Okay, so that's the front and the hind right there. This hind foot actually isn't showing. Oh, here's another good hind. There's a whole bunch of, there was multiple steps going on in here, so there's a mess, but we can see that. This is actually a much more typical hind. See the length in there? Here's a very typical front. Beautiful, exactly. Another right or left? Right?
So
Fantastic.
hind almost looks more dog-like.
Correct. They're more symmetrical. And take a look at this. This is just kind of, this is pretty cool. So in all of your cats,